things happen, during the course of the season, and guys got to keep themselves ready. I give, Chris a lot of credit tonight, playing the last 6, 7, 8 minutes and keeping himself ready and sitting over there for, 2 hours, then going out and coming in the game and, being professional and doing a really good job. And I give him a lot of credit for staying engaged, but we're going to need all of our players to do that, because you may not know what happens from day to day.
And can you update us on Sato, Cornette, or Dotson?
No, just that what's out there right now.
Thank you.
It's just excused absence.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cody, go ahead. You got the next one.
Hey, Billy, I know we're still kind of learning on this COVID stuff and the protocol, and understand you can't say everything, but like, what time of day did you figure out like Sato wouldn't be able to play, and like how flexible are you guys going to have to be when you learn things like key rotation guys can't play?
It's really, really hard for me to go into anything regarding that. Obviously we found out on, the day of the game. It was probably while we were at the arena, when a lot of that stuff happens. But, like that's going to happen sometimes, just in the environment that we're in. And I think you have to be prepared for anything. And, like I said, we obviously, it's a preseason game, would have liked to have played maybe a few more players tonight. But I give, all the guys credit, that got in there, that maybe, really played different kind of minutes the first night against Houston. So we've got to stay flexible. We got to be able to absorb and handle anything that gets thrown at us, because there's going to be disruption. And when there's just disruption, what you have to have is you have to have guys, I think, that are engaged. And these guys have done a really, really good job. And, it's going to be a crazy time and a crazy season, with all that I think we're all dealing with right now. And, from game to game, day to day, your team is going to change. And guys could be in different roles. Guys may have to learn a different position. I mean, it's going to be hard. There may not be a whole lot of continuity, but you just got to try to do the best you can.
All right. Shell Stout, you've got the next one. Go ahead.
Thank you. Billy, you do get a win tonight, and I know it's preseason, but what did you like about the ball movement tonight?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think one is we physically competed a lot better. I mean, we got really, really hurt the first game against Houston on drives on the 3-point line. We did not play, I didn't think, with any level of force and physicality. And I think our guys came and did that. The turnovers in the first half for us, I mean, we had a 31 or 30-point first quarter, and we turned it over 7 times. Now, we did a better job in the second half of taking care of the basketball, but I think starting off with, I thought we competed at a higher level than we did. Now, we did not shoot the ball particularly well. I thought we did a nice job moving the ball. We did not make baskets. I could tell, like, certain points in junctions of the game where they were kind of like, they couldn't make a shot. They were getting frustrated, started to kind of, lose energy. And, when guys are making shots, it always energizes you. I've always felt like when you're not making shots, can you actually handle that kind of adversity and be able to, overcome that and still do the things that you can control? So I liked what we did on offense. I liked how we played. I've got to really, I think this is all new for Wendell. And I think if you look at his last 2 games, just his shooting numbers, this is new for him. And it's probably more on me than it is on him, because I do have a lot of confidence in him. And I do think there's a lot of things that he can do, but it's going to be, a learning process for him. And he's got to figure out, where and when. I thought he bypassed some threes tonight that he could have taken. There was some opportunities around the front of the rim he didn't quite, make, but I think that he'll be able to kind of come into his own. Lowry didn't really shoot it particularly well, but I thought he did a lot of other good things for us. So I liked what we did on offense. We just didn't shoot the ball particularly well.
Billy, the next one comes from Jamal Collier. Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, I had a point just on Wendell. Just what do you think that even seeing one go in for him, then he seemed like he kind of threw his hands up in relief. What do you think that can do for him?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can tell that, like, a lot of that I just sense for him is, Wendell's a winning player. He has got a lot of really high qualities. And obviously I'm getting to know these guys, but when you talk to them about competition in the game and you hear things that they talk about, especially Wendell, winning is very important to him. So I think when he's not performing and he's not playing well, he takes that very, very serious. And I think for him last game, I think he probably was a little bit frustrated, with himself. I mean, but that's more of the competitiveness of him. And then I think he missed his first several shots, and then he kind of made one out of the corner. But we have to fight through that. We're not a team that's going to offense is not going to come easy for us all the time. What we've got to do is focus and concentrate on the things that we can control. Ball movement and generating good shots. If we generate good shots, we got to live with the result, but it can't drain us on the other end of the floor. We still have got to play with energy and we still have to compete. But as long as we're generating good shots, then I think that, we've got to be able to live with the results. And I think for Wendell, he's going to have to learn that because he's missed in 2 games here, a lot of shots. He's missed a lot of shots. But it's okay. He's taking the right ones and he's doing the right things. As he gets more and more comfortable, he's going to get better. But it's going to be a process for him. But I've got a lot of confidence and belief in him. But he just can't. We need him defensively, so we can't have his offense drain him or our team defensively.
Billy, our next question here comes from Christos with Sports CNA out of Greece. Christos, go ahead, please.
Hello, Coach.
Hello.
I would like to ask you, do you feel that tonight's game was one step forward, one step to the right direction for your team? And also, how satisfied you were from Patrick's performance?
Well, I mean, I think we competed a lot better. We spent a lot of time the last day or so talking about, competing and playing with a level of force and a thrust better than we did the first night against Houston. I think we did that tonight. I think now we've got to really look at the tactical part of the schematic part of what we did. We left our feet on shot fakes. I think it was a great game for Patrick guarding Eric Gordon because he's such a crafty offensive player. He got caught in the air a few times. He fouled him on a 3-point shot. He short closed out one time because he thought he was going to pump fake. Those are the things he's going to have to go through in terms of learning. I think we took a step in the right direction, but I think there's a lot for us to clean up. And I felt like the biggest thing we tried to clean up last game was just us competing at a higher and more physical level than we did. And I thought we did that today, but I think there's a lot of execution things that we can clean up on both ends of the floor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rob Schaefer's got the next one. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Billy. Seemed like Kobe settled in a little earlier tonight. Obviously, you left him in a little bit longer than the rest of the starters. How would you assess his performance tonight, especially compared to game 1?
I thought he played a really, really good first half, and he didn't really take a lot of shots. I thought he played a really good floor game. I think sometimes guys, it's not just Kobe, it's any player. Kobe has always been his entire life a great scorer, but when you're playing the point guard position, I think I said before the game, he's got to figure out that balance. And I thought he had a great balance in the first half. And there's going to be some games where, he may have to live with, 8 or 10 shots. And everybody, like Zach had 20 in the first half. Like as a point guard, you have to realize, okay, this guy's got it going a little bit and some good things are happening. And Lowry got some good looks. Wendell got some good looks. Yes, they didn't make them, but I thought he balanced himself and the rest of the team really, really well in the first half. I thought in that third quarter, it got away from us a little bit as a team offensively. I thought we had a lot of wasted possessions. I talked to Kobe a little bit about, that's part of his growth and maturation is when he sees that is to kind of like, make sure that we're getting something good. And I thought we had some periods there, both in the first half and in the second half, where we had what I would call just wasted possession, bad shot or a turnover or multiple turnovers together. You got to kind of course correct pretty quickly. But I thought he really bounced back. I think he also, like Wendell, maybe was disappointed with the way he played the other night. And he's a competitive guy, as I've said. And I thought he came back and really competed and played a really good floor game and a really well-balanced game in that first half.
Thanks.
Sam Smith, you're up. Go ahead, Sam.
Bill, you mentioned turnovers, particularly at the starts of those halves. First halves, the other game, first half and second half today. How much of that is seems like you're trying to get a lot of offense through the forwards? Are you trying to force feed the forwards to be making more plays in what you're doing going forward?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that we're trying to force feed. We are trying to use Wendell more as a creator and a playmaker to take advantage and utilize his passing. But to me, that's not where our turnovers came over. We had a lot of careless turnovers, and that's going to be something we're gonna, because we struggle at times to score, and we struggle to, we can go through some droughts, and you really create droughts when you turn the ball over. But I think if we're going to pass and move and try to create ball movement and player movement, as these guys try to figure out what we're trying to do, there's probably going to have some games where turning the ball over a little bit too high of a rate. I think we can execute better. I think we can cut a lot better. I think we made harder cuts today than we did the other night. But we're going to have to be a better passing team. Like, we turned the ball over on the break. We turned the ball over on outlet passes. Like, to me, that's not really running the offense through any of the front court guys. We have turnovers away from that. Now, to your point, I think in the first game against Houston, our forwards, to your point, got the ball slapped out of their hands a lot. And we had probably 5 turnovers that DeMarcus Cousins caused. I didn't think we had that tonight. I just thought we had a lot of carelessness that we have to clean up. We can't have lapses and droughts offensively for long stretches, especially where they're self-induced.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Billy, it looks like we got one last question here. It comes from Joe Kelly. Joe, go ahead.
Billy, are you concerned about Lowry so far?
In terms of him banging knees or what he's playing?
Just his shooting and just kind of making sure that he doesn't get caught up in what he did last year, kind of doubting himself at times, it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting being with these guys, and I'm trying to learn them. They're trying to learn me. It's not like we've been together a very long time, but like I could sense, I thought Larry actually did a really good job, today, because he did not shoot the ball well. He had some really, really good looks, but I felt like emotionally he was really engaged in the game, and that's what he's got to do. I thought there was moments in time. I think Patrick Williams went through that a little bit tonight. He had a stretch there. He turned it over and couldn't make a shot, missed some layups, fouls, and you could see it just taking the air out of him. And, he bounced back and really played well to close the fourth quarter. I think Lowry, I felt like, really responded in terms of not shooting the ball particularly well, but stayed engaged. Like I said this to them in a timeout. I said, how many of you guys have actually tried to miss a shot tonight? Like, intentionally tried. And they looked at me like I was like, what are you talking about? And my point is, you don't have any control over it. You don't. Like, focus on what you can control. And every guy, Larry wants to make every shot, so does Wendell, but it can't take away from other things that you can do to impact the game. So I didn't think that Lowry at all tonight. I thought he stayed the course pretty well. Listen, these guys are highly competitive. They're professional guys. They want to play well. They want to do well. So when they're not performing and making shots, because I think a lot of guys, they look at whether or not they're playing well by missing or making shots. And I think there's a lot of things that they can do to impact the game that necessarily has nothing to do with scoring.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. We're all good here. And that concludes availability. So